When you wake up in the morning, before you reach for your phone, before you let the noise of the world creep into your head, the first thing you must tell yourself is, I am enough just as I am. This is not just a positive affirmation, it is a declaration of truth. Because the moment you open your eyes, 1,000 voices, some internal, some external, are waiting to remind you of what you lack, of what you should become, of how far behind you are. And if you don't speak to yourself with conviction, those voices will speak for you, and they will convince you that you are inadequate. But when you ground yourself in the awareness that you are enough, you silence those voices before they even begin. To believe that you are enough does not mean you are perfect. It does not mean you stop striving, or that you settle for mediocrity. It means that you recognize your worth is not up for debate. It means you accept that you are a complete human being, even with your flaws, even with your scars, even with your unfinished chapters. And from that place of acceptance, growth becomes authentic. Because growth that comes from shame or self-loathing is fragile, it collapses under pressure. But growth that begins with acceptance is sustainable. It expands, it elevates, it transforms. Think about it. How many times in life have you held back because you thought you weren't ready, you weren't good enough, you weren't worthy? How many opportunities have passed you by, not because you lacked ability, but because you doubted your own value? We are taught from a very young age to measure ourselves against impossible standards, to earn our place in the world, to constantly chase validation. And in this endless chase, we forget that worth is not something you achieve. It is something you already carry. When you tell yourself, I am enough, you reclaim your power from this world of comparisons. You step out of the race that was never yours to run. You begin to see that your worth does not increase when you succeed, and it does not decrease when you fail. Your worth simply is, and when you live from that truth, failure loses its sting, criticism loses its power. Rejection loses its ability to define you, because if you are already enough, then nothing external can diminish that. It is also important to understand the psychological depth of this affirmation. The human brain is wired to focus on lack. It constantly seeks what is missing, what is incomplete, what needs fixing. This is why so many people start their mornings already in deficit mode, thinking of bills unpaid, tasks undone, mistakes made. But when you intentionally rewire your brain with the statement, I am enough, you interrupt that cycle. You shift the focus from deficiency to sufficiency, from scarcity to abundance. You remind yourself that you are not starting your day from a place of emptiness, but from a place of fullness. And there is a spiritual dimension to it as well. To believe you are enough is to recognize the miracle of existence itself. Out of billions of possibilities, you are here alive, breathing, thinking, loving, experiencing. To deny your own enoughness is to deny the miracle that brought you into being. So when you wake up and tell yourself, I am enough, you are not just practicing self-love, you are honoring life itself. Carry this truth with you, not only in the quiet of the morning, but in the noise of the day. When someone questions your worth, remind yourself, I am enough. When you stumble, remind yourself, I am enough. When you are overlooked or underestimated, remind yourself, I am enough. Because if you begin your day from that foundation, everything else you build upon it will stand stronger. And so I leave you with this. Tomorrow morning, when your eyes open to a new dawn, before doubt and fear enter the room, whisper to yourself with conviction, I am enough. Because once you believe that, the world can no longer make you feel otherwise. The second thing you must tell yourself every morning is this, I have the power to choose my attitude today. It sounds simple, almost too simple, but it is one of the most transformative truths you can carry into your day, because life will always throw things at you that you cannot control. Traffic, weather, people's opinions, sudden losses, unexpected disappointments. But there is one thing, and only one thing that forever remains in your domain: the attitude with which you respond. Most people move through life as if their moods are dictated entirely by circumstances. If the sun shines, they smile. If it rains, they sulk. If people praise them, they feel high. If people criticize them, they crumble. In other words, they surrender their inner world to the mercy of the outer world. But here's the truth. Your inner state does not have to be a slave to external conditions. Attitude is not a reaction. It is a choice. And that choice determines not only how you experience your day, but also how others experience you. Imagine waking up and reminding yourself, I decide how I will carry myself today. Not my boss, not my colleagues, not social media, not the stranger who cuts me off in traffic, me. Suddenly, you realize how much power you actually hold. This is not about pretending life is perfect when it is not. It is about choosing the lens through which you see it. Do you see obstacles as barriers or as opportunities to grow stronger? Do you see criticism as an insult or as feedback that can sharpen you? Do you see a delay as wasted time or as a moment to breathe, reflect, and reset? Psychologists tell us that attitude directly shapes perception. Two people can experience the exact same event, but their interpretation makes all the difference. One sees failure as humiliation, the other sees it as education. One sees rejection as proof of inadequacy, the other sees it as redirection. The event is the same, but the meaning is different, and the meaning comes from attitude. This is why choosing your attitude each morning is not a trivial habit. It is the foundation of resilience. There is also a philosophical depth to this truth. If you study the Stoics, you'll find that they placed supreme importance on the things within our control. They believed we cannot control the external world, but we can control our judgments about it, and isn't that the essence of freedom? You may not be free to dictate what life brings, but you are free to dictate how you meet it. That freedom is what separates a life of constant turmoil from a life of grounded strength. When you wake up and tell yourself, I have the power to choose my attitude today. You are reminding yourself that you are not a victim of circumstance. You are an active participant in shaping your experience. Even in pain, you can choose dignity. Even in uncertainty, you can choose faith. Even in hardship, you can choose gratitude, and each choice you make compounds, building a mindset that can withstand storms. The truth is, your attitude becomes the atmosphere you create around yourself. People may forget your words, they may forget your achievements, but they will never forget how your attitude made them feel. And that influence, that energy, begins with what you decide each morning. So tomorrow, when you open your eyes, don't ask, "What kind of day will I have?" Instead, declare, "I will choose what kind of day I will create." Because once you understand that attitude is always your choice, life stops happening to you and begins happening through you. The third thing you must tell yourself every morning is, "I will focus on progress, not perfection." This single reminder can release you from chains that so many people spend their lives trapped in. We live in a world that glorifies flawless outcomes, perfect bodies, perfect careers, perfect relationships, perfect achievements. And when you measure yourself against that illusion, no matter how much you achieve, it always feels insufficient. Perfection is not only unattainable, it is a moving target. The more you chase it, the further away it seems to go. But progress, that is real, that is tangible, and that is always within reach. When you focus on progress, you shift your perspective from what you have not yet achieved to how far you have already come. Too often, we discount the small steps we take every day because we believe only dramatic breakthroughs count. But think about it. A mountain is climbed not by giant leaps, but by steady, deliberate steps. every page written, every workout completed, every effort made, however small, is progress. And progress is what transforms lives. Perfection, on the other hand, breeds paralysis. How many dreams are abandoned because people feel they must be perfect before they even begin? How many opportunities are missed because someone hesitated, waiting for the perfect timing, the perfect skill set, the perfect confidence? But life never waits for perfection. Life rewards movement. It rewards courage. It rewards those who are willing to take imperfect action again and again until mastery is formed. Psychologically, perfectionism creates a constant cycle of dissatisfaction. When you demand flawlessness from yourself, you set standards so high they crush your spirit. Even when you succeed, you find something that could have been better. And instead of celebrating, you criticize yourself. That mindset slowly eats away at joy, at confidence, at the willingness to try again. But when you embrace progress, you build resilience. You begin to celebrate small victories. You give yourself permission to be a work in progress, and that permission fuels momentum. Philosophically, progress is the essence of being human. We are not designed to be finished products. We are designed to be evolving beings. Every day offers us a chance to become a little wiser, a little stronger, a little kinder. When you tell yourself, I will focus on progress, not perfection, you are aligning yourself with the very nature of growth. You are saying, I am not here to compete with an illusion. I am here to become a better version of myself than I was yesterday. And that is a standard you can live by. Let us be honest, the people who inspire us most are not the ones who seem flawless. They are the ones who kept moving despite flaws. They are the ones who fell, stumbled, struggled, but never stopped progressing. Their stories remind us that beauty lies in persistence, not perfection. So, why do we demand from ourselves what we do not demand from those we admire? Why not give ourselves the same grace? Tomorrow morning, when you stand in front of the mirror, instead of asking, Am I perfect yet? Ask, Am I progressing? Instead of criticizing the distance you still have to cover, acknowledge the distance you've already traveled. Because the truth is, perfection will always leave you empty, but progress will always leave you fulfilled. So carry this truth with you. Focus on progress, not perfection. Because in the end, it is not the flawless life that inspires others. It is the evolving life. And if you choose progress every day, you will discover that you are not only moving forward, but also lifting others along the way. The fourth thing you must tell yourself every morning is this: I will not compare my journey with anyone else's. Comparison is one of the most silent thieves of peace, and yet almost all of us fall into its trap. From the moment we open our eyes, we are surrounded by images, stories, and metrics of other people's lives. What they have achieved, where they are traveling, how successful they look, how flawless they appear, and if we are not careful, we begin to measure our worth against these fragments of someone else's story. But every time you do that, you diminish your own path, and you blind yourself to the uniqueness of your own becoming. The truth is, no two journeys are meant to be identical. Each of us carries a different history, different struggles, different lessons, different timing. Just because someone seems to be ahead of you does not mean you are behind. It only means they are walking a path that was never meant to be yours. You may be growing in silence while someone else is shining in the spotlight. You may be planting seeds while someone else is harvesting fruits. But both stages matter, both have meaning, and both require patience. Psychologically, comparison often stems from insecurity. The belief that our worth must be validated by how we measure up to others. But here is the problem: comparison never ends. There will always be someone smarter, wealthier, more attractive, more accomplished. And if you base your value on keeping up, you will live in endless dissatisfaction. But when you tell yourself each morning, Asterisk, I will not compare my journey with anyone else's. Asterisk, you break that cycle. You remind yourself that your only competition is the person you were yesterday. That is a standard you can actually work with, and one that brings real fulfillment. Philosophically, think of life as a tapestry. Every thread is woven with its own color, its own rhythm, its own design. If a single thread tried to copy another, the entire tapestry would lose its beauty. In the same way, your life's meaning is not in imitating someone else's design, but in fully embracing your own. There is a depth to your experiences, to your pain, to your victories, that no one else can replicate. And that depth is what gives your journey its power. One of the most dangerous effects of comparison is that it makes us blind to our blessings. We could be surrounded by abundance, yet still feel empty because someone else appears to have more. Gratitude and comparison cannot live in the same space. So each morning, when you remind yourself not to compare, you also make space for gratitude. You begin to see what is good, what is already working, what is already growing in your life. That shift in focus can change the entire energy of your day. The people who truly live fulfilled lives are not those who try to outrun others, but those who run their own race with conviction. They do not rush their pace to match someone else's timeline. They trust their own. They do not resent someone else's blessing. They celebrate it while nurturing their own. And that is the mindset that brings peace, not just success, but peace. So tomorrow, when you step into your day, refuse to let comparison steal your joy. Look at your path, own it, honor it, and remind yourself that your story is unfolding exactly as it should. Because in the end, life is not about being ahead of anyone else. It is about becoming the fullest version of yourself. And so I leave you with this thought. Asterisk, your journey is not meant to look like anyone else's, because it was never written for anyone else. It was written for you. Asterisk, the fifth thing you must remind yourself every morning is this. Asterisk, gratitude is my compass. Asterisk, of all the choices you make at the start of your day, none has the power to transform your perspective quite like gratitude. It is not just about listing blessings or practicing a ritual. It is about anchoring your heart in a mindset that allows you to see life through the lens of sufficiency rather than scarcity. Gratitude does not erase pain, nor does it deny struggle, but it equips you with the strength to walk through both with dignity, because you are focused not on what is missing, but on what is present. Think about how most people begin their mornings. The moment they wake up, their minds start racing with worries, deadlines, and obligations. Their focus instantly shifts to what they don't have, what they haven't achieved, what they fear might go wrong. And in that mental state, the day already begins on deficit mode. But gratitude interrupts that cycle. It slows down the noise and says, wait before you run ahead, look around. You already have so much to stand on. The breath in your lungs, the people who care for you, the opportunities that await you, even the struggles that are shaping you, all of these are gifts. And when you remind yourself of them, you begin the day not with emptiness, but with fullness. Psychologically, gratitude has been proven to rewire the brain. Neuroscientists have shown that people who practice gratitude consistently have lower levels of stress, greater resilience, and stronger overall well-being. Why? Because the mind cannot simultaneously dwell on fear and gratitude. When you are thankful, you disarm anxiety. When you are thankful, you shift your energy away from lack and direct it toward possibility. Gratitude is not just a feeling, it is a discipline. And when practiced daily, it becomes a compass that guides your responses, your decisions, and even your relationships. Philosophically, gratitude is an acknowledgement of life itself. To be grateful is to recognize that existence is not owed to us, it is a gift. Every sunrise, every heartbeat, Every new chance to begin again is a reminder that we are living on borrowed time, and borrowed time is sacred. When you wake up and tell yourself, gratitude is my compass, you are orienting your soul toward humility, toward wonder, toward reverence for the miracle of being alive. Now, gratitude does not mean pretending everything is perfect. It does not mean ignoring pain or dismissing hardship. It means finding light even when darkness surrounds you. It means saying, "This struggle hurts, but I am thankful it is teaching me resilience." It means saying, "I may not be where I want to be, but I am grateful I am not where I used to be." Gratitude transforms obstacles into lessons, and lessons into growth. That is why it is a compass. It keeps you oriented toward meaning, even when circumstances try to pull you off course. When you walk into your day guided by gratitude, people feel it. Gratitude makes you softer, more patient, more compassionate. It allows you to celebrate others instead of competing with them. It reminds you to pause, to notice, to value the simple things that often go unseen. And that posture of thankfulness creates a ripple effect. Not only does it elevate your own life, it elevates the lives of those around you. So tomorrow morning, before you rush into the demands of the day, pause for just a moment and tell yourself, gratitude is my compass. Let it guide your thoughts, let it shape your words, let it influence your choices. Because no matter where the day takes you, if gratitude is your compass, you will never lose your way. And so I leave you with this, a grateful heart does not wait for a perfect life. It creates one moment by moment. The sixth thing you must remind yourself every morning is this, today is a gift. Will not waste it. It sounds almost cliché, yet when you sit with these words deeply, they carry an urgency that can change the way you live. Too often, we move through life as if time is endless, as if days are something we can casually spend and replenish later. But the truth is, time is the one resource that never comes back. Once a moment is gone, it is gone forever. That is why each morning, as you wake up, it is essential to remind yourself that the day you are holding is not ordinary. It is not a repetition of yesterday, and it is not guaranteed to return tomorrow. It is a singular, unrepeatable gift. When you see today as a gift, you begin to shift how you approach it. You no longer live on autopilot, dragging yourself through routines without awareness. Instead, you become intentional. You ask yourself, how do I want to spend this irreplaceable day? What can I create? Who can I love? What difference can I make? That shift in perspective takes you out of passivity and brings you into purpose. Philosophically, every great thinker has emphasized the brevity of life. From the Stoics who reminded us memento mori, remember that you will die, to poets who wrote about seizing the day, the message has always been clear: life is fragile, and that fragility gives it beauty. If you knew you had only one day left, you would not waste it in resentment, in comparison, or in regret. You would not postpone kindness, or hold back your laughter, or silence your dreams. You would live fully, unapologetically, gratefully. So why not live that way now, while the gift is still in your hands? Psychologically, this perspective is liberating. Many of us carry the weight of yesterday's mistakes or the anxiety of tomorrow's uncertainties. But when you remind yourself today is a gift, you anchor yourself in the present moment. You stop carrying unnecessary baggage from the past and borrowing unnecessary fear from the future. You realize that the only place you can truly live is here, now, in this day. That awareness frees you to focus your energy where it matters. And remember this, not wasting today does not mean filling it with endless tasks or exhausting yourself with productivity. It means living it with awareness and intention. Some days, using the gift means working hard on your goals. Other days, it means slowing down, resting, connecting with loved ones, or simply noticing the beauty of ordinary moments. The gift is not in how much you accomplish, but in how deeply you are present. Think about the countless people who woke up yesterday but did not wake up today. Think about the opportunities they no longer have, the conversations they cannot finish, the dreams they can no longer chase. And then think about you, still here, still breathing, still with time. This realization is not meant to make you fearful, it is meant to make you grateful. Grateful enough not to waste what so many no longer have. So tomorrow, when your eyes open and you take that first breath, pause before rushing into the noise of the world. Whisper to yourself, today is a gift. I will not waste it. Let it shape the way you speak, the way you work, the way you love, the way you forgive. Because when you treat each day as a gift, life itself becomes a collection of treasures. And so I leave you with this. The greatest tragedy is not that life is short. It is that we forget it is precious. Don't waste today, live it.